Now, moving on to the big happening of UAE. Right now, UAE is going through the explosion of having Expo 2020 coming up. You had Fazza, who is Sheikh Mohammed's son. He, had a nice photograph of him promoting Expo 2020 one more year. You had the Burj Khalifa right in the middle of Dubai. I call it the erection, or the middle finger. It was being lit up with ads for Expo 2020 because the countdown now officially begins. You also had Mariah Carey, who is coming there to sing, charges a lot of money. I don't know who's a fan of hers. I don't know who's even going to bother to listen to her. I mean, she's like, when if you try to strangle a cat and the cat is squealing and so, so that female came down to sing and commemorate Expo 2020. I don't know how far this is actually a good idea, but then again, Expo 2020, the countdown begins. So as of now, all I see is marketing hype. I see effort being made. I see them being genuine about wanting to make it a success. But the way they're going about is just absolutely, crazy. You have videos that are being shared, inviting people to be volunteers. That means they want people to work for Expo 2020 for free. So I don't know how far this is going to actually work. Well, there will be a couple of people who would love to work for free, who would love to be part of the Expo 2020 experience. But then again, if you are a focused individual, if you are someone who values his time, his effort, his skills, I wouldn't work for free. I don't know if anyone wants to work for free, go ahead. Maybe it'll give you a great experience. But these videos are calling people to work for free, and they're saying it's once in a lifetime. It's a great opportunity. It's what I want to be part of. It's all bullshit. You're never going to be part of it. You're just going to be used by it. But anyway, for those who would like to, apply for Expo 2020, go ahead, be a part of the experience. Maybe it's a learning opportunity for you, but I found this video that was inviting people for Expo 2020. Now, the main news that I want to share with you is an ArabianBusiness.com report. Now, this is the headlines that clearly state about Expo 2020, Dubai, the story behind creating the world's greatest show. So, in this particular article by Arabian Business, they are taking the interview of Sanjive Khosla, who is the Chief Commercial Officer at Expo 2020. Now, you can check it on YouTube. There's an interview of Sanjive Khosla, who's a Deputy Chief Visitor Experience for Expo 2020, and there are different designations. Deputy Chief Visitor Experience, then he has Commercial Officer, so I don't know which one, maybe he got promoted. So he kind of reminds me of Satyanandeva. However, obviously, even though there are similarities, he's not the same guy. So in terms of Sanjive Khosla, I did a little bit of research. He is the Vice President for Research and Analytics at Expo 2020 since 2017. So as of now, I get three designations. One is he's the Vice President for Research and Analytics at Expo 2020. Second one is the Deputy Chief Visitor for Experience Officer for Expo 2020. And third one is the Chief Commercial Officer. Like I say, designations in the Middle East is like changing your underwear. It's every day it's a new one. It's just dummy. It doesn't mean jack shit. Okay. So anyway, let's agree on one thing, that he occupies a very senior level position for Expo 2020. Now, who in the world is he? So before taking on the leadership role at Expo 2020, he was a senior vice president for strategy at Dubai Holdings, and we know what happened to that company. So he was part of that company since 2009, where he was dealing with the strategy function, the corporate governance framework for Dubai Holdings. Before that, he was the Chief Strategy and Excellence Officer at TECOM Investments, which is once again a subsidiary for Dubai Holdings, where he focused on the strategy, business development, product development, quality customer care functions of the TECOM Investments. And he was with TECOM from 2001 till 2009. Prior to coming to TECOM Investments, he has worked with GE Appliances, Citibank, GE Capital, Tata Group in sales, project management, and credit control. He has also served as a board member for various organizations. He holds an MBA from Indian Institute of Management, IIMs, which is equivalent to Harvard Business School from Ahmedabad, and he holds a bachelor's degree from St. Stephen's College in Delhi. So the guy has amazing credentials. He has a bachelor's degree, he has an MBA from IIMs, which is the creme de la creme, and he has amazing experience on GE Appliances, Citibank, GE Capital, Tata Group. Then he moved to TECOM Investments. Then he moved to Dubai Holdings. Now he's part of Dubai, Expo 2020. Now, what I see it as is he was working for these companies during the boom period and working for multinational companies, whatever. Then he moved to UAE. He grew when UAE was moving towards a boom phase. But now the question is, when UAE is no longer in the boom phase, when it's not easily attracting investments, when it's not easily attracting people, can he still succeed? Can he still show his magic? Does he have that kind of leadership qualities or that kind of creativity that he can hold the tsunami of the weather, the environment, and prove his mettle? So that's a big question. So let's see, what does the article say. So Sanjive Khosla, who is the Chief Commercial Officer at Expo 2020, his target is 25 million visitors in 6 months. Now, according to him, he says people are feeling the excitement. It's getting closer. They can see it's coming up. It's there. It's going to happen. So he feels excitement. Well, he has to feel excited because it's his party. So he is being paid a good salary to show the excitement. So he would say, yes, it's so exciting. It's going to change the world. Just like Apple, when it launches the iPhone every year, it is the most advanced iPhone in the world. It's the most technologically superior product in the world. Obviously, because Apple is paying that buffoon a salary, so the buffoon will praise his own company. You will not expect Apple to say, this is a crappy product. We had to launch it anyhow. So they put a gun to my head and put a bamboo up my ass to say that this is a great product. So, they're going to tell you the truth. They're going to say, wow, it's one more thing. This is going to be mind blasting, like Russell Peters says. So even here you have Sanjive Khosla, who says, oh, you can feel the excitement. Oh, the excitement. Oh. Okay, fine. So, the 25 million visitors, so that's as per his Panditgiri, his prediction, his future forecast. Okay. So, from where did he get this number? The interviewer asked him, and he says, Khosla and his team have commissioned regular studies, amazing studies, great studies. They had all these companies conduct studies where, what he says, we continuously measure the likelihood of visits from key markets internationally and domestically. Up to now, our research has shown us that when we interview people who are traveling to Dubai or UAE, the likelihood to visit Expo 2020 is going to be extremely high. Of course, when you come down to Dubai, if there's a big party, a big carnival, you will go and visit the place. So until now, he's right. Especially once you present them what you're doing and what's going to be the concept, they are fairly confident of the numbers that we have right there. Okay. So if this is my thinking, if they make travel to Dubai dirt cheap, if they make travel really affordable, if they make hotels offering at a throwaway price, if they give them amazing package deals, if they give the ticket resellers great commission, obviously you will get the target of 11 million or 15 million people visiting. So until now, I totally agree. Whatever he has predicted will come true. So you see, I'm not a negative naysayer. I agree what he's saying is true. So Khosla estimates that the international guests will average about 1.2 times, while local residents are predicted to visit an average of 3 times during the period of 6 months. Now, once again, 1.2 times, what he means to say is people will visit an average of 2 times, because obviously you cannot cover the whole Expo 20. It's a very large location, so people will visit more than once. Okay. So while local residents, they would visit at least 3 times. Yes, there are a lot of people out there who are curious about what exactly is happening with Expo 2020. They would like to see the extravagance. They would like to see the showmanship. They would like to see the jazz, the pizzazz. Now, obviously, since it is a once in a lifetime kind of experience, yes, you would take your family, you would go there, you'd like to see, wow, the acrobats, oh, this famous mega star. And there are many people who are like, if they come to know that a film actor or a film actress or a superstar is coming there, they would love to be there. And I'm very sure Dubai is not going to spend any expense to make sure that every crowd attracting star is present there. I'm very sure they will call every international celebrity on this planet over there, from Amitabh Bachchan to Shah Rukh Khan, these are Indian stars, to maybe Pakistani superstars, to let's say Hollywood, movie mega stars. They will call the who's who, I'm pretty sure. And yes, there are these people who love to see the stars, they will come. Okay. So until now, I totally agree. Great idea. Okay. So the number works out to 145,000 visits. Each one of the 173 days the site is open. So until now, totally agree. You're a genius. So the marketing campaign. In order to achieve this target, the marketing campaign is already underway. Okay. So what is the marketing campaign? The first awareness drive is Welcome to the Future video campaign starring Argentinian football Lionel Messi. He is a crowd puller. And a free concert with American singer Mariah Carey, who is expired. She has now become a big buffalo. But anyway, she sounds more like a cat is getting strangulated. Okay, whatever, I can't go that high. So Mariah Carey. So anyway, they're getting them, and they have the 1 year to go campaign opening the event. So good. Okay. Although I don't understand. Lionel Messi is okay. Crowd puller. Mariah Carey is dead. Okay. Then one of the key strategies Khosla is using to attract millions of visitors is encouraging events to take place within the Expo site, just located 10 minutes walk. Another very smart move. That means as soon as you walk into Expo, there will be some event, there will be some bonanza, there will be something happening. So that's going to drive people to, wow, look at that. Oh, wow, let's take a photo there. So they're going to encourage many people to take photographs, take selfies, take videos. So obviously, yes, this is also going to work. And there are many people who would love to take their smartphones, who would love to share an Instagram photograph, love to share a video, because it's once in a lifetime kind of an experience. Okay. Now, here's the next question. How confident is Khosla that this would happen, that visitors would visit at least 3 times? So he's saying, according to him, he says, I placed place the possibility into 3 to 4 different buckets. So buckets means, conditions. So let's see his first bucket, or balti, as you say. The first bucket is there are many pavilions, or like each one is a mini museum, which will give people different experience. So each one is a different, let's say India, Pakistan, Brazil, then Germany, France. So obviously each pavilion will be different. So yes, people would come there. Second is we have 3 thematic signature pavilions. Once again, people will be like, wow, what is happening there? Let me go and check it out. Okay, the third bucket is there are more than 200 food outlets and beverage outlets and 50 different cuisines all across. Now, here I doubt this one is actually going to create that much of magic, because the question is, how much food can you possibly eat as a human being? Maybe you can try 5 different or 10 different dishes by the time you'll get full. So 200 is, and each, let's say Indian cuisine will not have just one dish. You'll have 20, 30 dishes. You'll have 20, 30 different brands. So, it's not like people are going to travel all the way there and get lost into that huge, massive, like maybe 20 or 50 or 100 football fields, large area to eat food. But yes, food may be an attraction. But then again, keep in mind, food is not going to be cheap, because they're going to charge top dollar to have a venue being rented out, a space, and these people need to cover the expense. So I'm pretty sure the cost will be 3 to 5 times to even 10 times more expensive than what it is outside. And finally, what he says is, we have identified 6 special days: Diwali, Christmas, New Year, Chinese New Year, UAE National Day, and International Women's Day. So these 6 special days where they're going to make money. Now, Khosla, who's responsible for monetizing the event, says that they're going to make money 3 ways: ticket sales, sponsorship, and licensing. Ticket sales, obviously, they're going to sell tickets. The buzz is there that a lot of free tickets are going to be given, and a lot of companies are going to be like, they're going to be blackmailed into buying tickets. So obviously, you can't say no if the government says you have to buy 20 tickets. Okay. The second one is sponsorship. Mastercard, Nissan, Pepsi, SAP, Emirates, Siemens, Emirates NBD, Etisalat, UPS. Okay, sponsorship and money. I don't know if they're actually getting money, but yes, I do feel they have the money. So obviously, they are going to give. And licensing. What do you mean by licensing? Merchandise, magnets, pins, scooters, electric scooters, toy sets, watches, chocolates. So people who like to collect memorabilia, they would like to collect all this. And last but not the least, what he says is the reason why he is so confident is because when they had a bus tour for people to visit the construction sites, we had to extend the schedule of the tour because the demand was so high. It was doing so well that we had to, have many more tours scheduled because there was a very strong response. Now, what I feel is the reason for the strong response is because people are curious what exactly is happening, and there are a lot of people whose money is locked in. They want to know, are our projects, going to be complete? Will I get our money back? So yes, press, media, everyone is very curious to know what is happening. Now, after I read this article, this is my thought process. Yes, they will succeed in attracting a crowd. Dubai is going to leave no stone unturned to make sure that they get a crowd. I absolutely believe they're going to succeed 100% in getting a crowd. The second thing which I believe is they're going to make sure that they have the best entertainment available to keep the crowd glued. That also I believe. Next one is they're going to have the best showmen. They're going to have the best creative artists. They're going to have everyone present there to make sure a bigger crowd gets drawn. Okay. And last but not the least, they would ensure that they have the best brains to make sure that everyone who comes there spends money for something or another. Okay. However, having said that, okay, let's keep the social media aspect aside. The social media influences, the paid, sponsored, manipulated press. Oh, it's a grand success. We made tons of money. We have got the millionth visitor. Let's keep all this aside. The thing which they cannot stop, one is in the day and age of social media, the reality of what actually happens if the event is a flop. If it's too big and it's too long and the negative reviews, obviously nobody will be allowed to speak anything negative, but it will leak. And I'll be among them who will get the actual information. That's number one. The second one is you can't control each and everyone who comes there, and you can't control his thoughts and opinions. So there will be naysayers, there will be negative press, but they'll not mention it there. Once they leave the country, they would, send the email to their newspapers and say, it's all hype. Okay. Third one is, to make a program successful for 1 day, that's a doable task. 2 days, doable. 3 days, doable. 1 week, doable. 2 weeks, still doable. 1 month is a big challenge. But now you have 6 months. Here's my question to you. How many times, let's say I'm speaking to you, how many times do you think you're going to go and visit Expo 2020? Let's assume it's not far. Let's assume it's just a 15 minutes drive. How many times would you go to the venue? You'll go once, you'll go twice, let's say once every week. Would you do that once every week? At some point, the law of diminishing returns will come into play. That's number one. The second thing is, how much money are you going to spend there? If you come to know it's expensive, you will not spend. So you'll prepare yourself, you eat food, drink everything, and then go there just to kill time. Number three, what happens if and when the negative reality does leak out? Then what do you do? And last but not the least, this is the biggest question of them all. Let's assume the event was a grand success. They made each and every day a sellout. They were minting money left, right, and center. The event is over. Everyone goes back home. Now the buildings remain. The volunteers go home. The buildings are there. The road is there. The infrastructure is there. What are you going to use that area for? The stadiums, the offices. Who are you going to lease it to? Let's assume you say, oh, no, they can lease it, they can give it out for rent. Think before you even get that thought in your mind. Just think. How many units are already there in UAE? More than, I think, 50,000 units. I'm roughly giving 50,000 offices and buildings and apartments which are empty. And then you have this, again, offices and apartments, again, empty. It's going to be a ghost town. And after all the investors and everyone goes, when they come back to reality, it's like having this wedding. You prepare this wedding and it's an amazing wedding and you had a great show. After you go back home, you're going to sit and you will have to pay. Oh, okay, the food and beverage, the DJ, the this, the that, everyone else. And then you'll be counting, how much money did I get in? How much money did I spend? I personally feel that the amount of money that they will spend to make this event a success, because it's their name, their reputation, everything online, they will end up spending more than what they are getting. I strongly believe this. They're not going to make a profit. They are going to spend more money than what they generate, okay, with the hope that investors would come in. That will be the biggest downfall. So forget the infrastructure, forget the empty buildings, this strategy of theirs. And the second and biggest problem or question which nobody has the answer to, but everyone's sitting and observing, is if Qatar and if Yemeni Houthis, they take the revenge, they exact the pound of flesh for everything that UAE did with Saudi to them. This will destroy Expo 20. Just one so-called terrorist attack or bomb explosion. Just think. See, look, I'm not wishing bad for UAE. Okay, get this out of here. I'm not wishing bad, but I'm giving you the possibility. Just think. First day, big launch, press, media, everyone is there. Suddenly there's an explosion. Suddenly there is something happens. Would you take your family and risk going there? What do you think is going to happen to the investors if something happens? Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if it does happen. So, and they have 6 months where something may happen. Now, yes, you would say that UAE would do whatever it takes to have the best technology to make sure nothing comes in. There can also be a possibility. But how much can you control? Let's assume no terrorist comes in. They're foolproof. For that also they have to spend money. And then if they can't, let's say the enemies can't do anything there, can you stop social media? Can you stop news? Can you stop negative press from leaking out? Right now, Qatar is doing so much, whatever it can, to ensure that its stadiums are being cooled and these athletes are given a great experience, but they cannot control everything. That's why the stadium was empty. That's why there was no audience. That's why the athletes were in a stadium that was totally empty and everyone was talking about it. And even worse was the hot climate. It was so bloody hot. None of the athletes had a great time. Some of them were fading. Many of them went to the hospital. You don't forget, in UAE, the heat itself kills people from walking around. So I don't know how people are going to move around. I don't know what's going to happen, but I look at it as there are a lot of variable factors, like, for example, the traffic jams, the bottleneck, the management of the crowd. They've never done this before. They're doing it for the first time. They're going to face tremendous challenges, tremendous. And for negative press to leak out, it's just a matter of one mistake and everyone's going to talk about it. So this is what I feel. I'm not wishing UAE bad. I wish them success, but they have taken a big, huge challenge. Huge. It's something nobody can fathom. So it's going to be like hosting the Olympics, but that also for 6 months, So it's not like having a party. Imagine having an event for one day is so stressful, but now you're having it for 6 months. So let me know what you think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can say that, oh, you're just being negative. Let me know what you think. I personally feel that UAE is taking a lot more than it can handle, and they're going to spend they're going to drain themselves to keep their respect, their image, and most probably, this is my gut feeling, UAE is going to empty itself into bankruptcy after this event. This is my prediction. You can tell me if I'm wrong or right. I'd love to know your thoughts. So that's what I have to say about this topic. Let's move on to the next one.